Okay, thank you for putting on the recording. In chapter 25, we have 28 verses. So we can do 7, 7, 7, 7. 7 times 4, 28. So who would like to read the first 7? And then let's just keep going. Anyone? Want me to start?
I'll read, Pastor Bert.
Okay,
Pastor Bert,
Susie.
Pastor Bert, are we doing Proverbs or Psalms?
No,
Proverbs.
Proverbs, but I'm putting it out there. If you guys request the psalm, we can do that in the future.
Ah,
In the
okay.
future.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Uh,
go ahead,
torn.
Sister Susie, the
Okay,
first 7.
the first 7.
7
Oh,
times 4, 28.
okay, these are the similitudes instructions. Verse 1. These are Proverbs of Solomon, which the man of Hezekiah, king of Judah, described. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there comes out a vessel for the smith. Take away the wicked before the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not claim honor in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of great men. For it is better that it be said to you, come up here, than for you to be placed lower in the presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen. Verse 8, next one.
Yeah, who wants to read next?
I
Anyone?
can start, Pastor.
Okay, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah,
Verse 8
it's
Verse 8.
to 15.
yes. Okay. Verse 8. Just because you've seen something, don't be in a hurry to go to court. For what will you do at the end if your neighbor deals you in shameful defeat? 9. When arguing with your neighbor, don't betray another person's secret. 10. Others may accuse you of gossip, and you will never regain your good reputation. 11. Timely advice is lovely, like golden apples in a silver basket. 12. To one who listens, valid criticism is like a gold earring of other gold jewelry. Uh, what is this?
13.
13. Trustworthy messenger refresh like now and summer. They revive the spirit of their employer. 14. A person who promises a gift but doesn't give it is like a cloud and wind that brings no rain.
I can finish it, Pastor Bert.
Oh,
Go ahead, Sister
go
Princess.
ahead.
Thank you.
Through patience, a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. If you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Too much of you, and they will hate you.
Wow.
Like a club or a sword or a sharp arrow is one who gives false testimony against a neighbor. Like a broken tooth or a lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful in a time of trouble. Like one who takes away a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar poured on a wound, is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Like a north wind that brings unexpected rain is a sly tongue which provokes a horrified look. Did I go beyond?
That's okay. Might as well finish it up.
Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
There's
Like
Annie.
like cold water to a weary soul is good news from a distant land. Like a muddied spring or a polluted well are the righteous who give way to the wicked. It is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it honorable to search out matters that are too deep. Oh. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self control. Amen.
Amen.
Wow. Okay. Which verse jumped out at you?
There are so many on this one.
I've got
There are a lot. There's 28 verses.
There are.
I got number 24. Better to live on the corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife.
Okay, remember, this is a father to a son advice, right?
Yeah.
So here's Solomon giving his son an advice concerning marriage. Okay, that's one. So back then, the roof of a house in the Israel, Middle East area is flat. You can actually spend time up on the roof.
Mhm.
It's almost like a backyard. It's like your private backyard, depending if your house is connected or not. But it becomes a private backyard if it's not connected to other houses, and you could actually spend a really nice time up there, especially in the evening. You know, if you want to, set up a little chair or a place where you can lie down on a mat and look up at the stars. So you have that in the Middle Eastern homes. So that could be a place of, retreat. It's like a private and comfortable place. So when it says better to live on a corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife, if you've ever been in a relationship where, as a man, right, your wife is quarrelsome.
Oh, God.
And I'm not being like, just against women here. We're just taking it in context that's the culture and that's the context of father to son. If you're married to a woman who's quarrelsome, first of all, does anybody know or have seen a situation where between husband and wife, the wife is very quarrelsome?
Yes.
So
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys seen it for yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We know that if the woman wants to argue and wants to continue to argue, the man is in a position to argue back. Right? So she argues with him. He obviously will argue back. And now they're both arguing with each other. What does a man desire in the home? He should desire peace.
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 And most men are not, good at using a lot of words. And maybe because they don't like to use a lot of words, because they know using a lot of words will create more arguments.
Yeah,
So
because
And
they
plus
have
they're
limited
tired.
vocabulary.
yeah, it can. So the idea of husband and wife arguing it with each other, it can get heated, and it can get, it can escalate worse and worse. The more words that are spoken, the proverb says sin is not far. So the more words, the more arguing, you think you're trying to solve the problem by expressing your thoughts and feelings, and you do it in a heated, argumentative way between your husband and your wife. And when that's going on, what happens if you keep letting it escalate? Does
It
anybody know?
escalates into a fight.
It
It gets
escalates
so much
into
worse.
violence.
It's
Yeah.
violence. Now
Could
there's
go that way.
physical violence,
Right.
right?
Right?
The husband can, express violence with his hands, and the woman could do the same thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't have hands. Maybe she'll use weapons.
A pot.
Yeah.
Pot. There you go.
A pot. But this is wisdom for a son who's married, that the potential for things to go from a argument to something terrible, something worse, is always out there, and you should be aware of that. To de-escalate the situation, have enough wisdom to say,
That's enough.
let's take a break.
Right.
Yep.
Let's calm down.
Walk away.
Yeah, walk away. I'm going to the roof.
Yeah, there you
Do
go.
you see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
in the Middle Eastern culture, it's appropriate. I'm just going to, spend some time quietly, get my nerves calm down, and then we can revisit this issue, and then, maybe we can work it out better. So you want to be able to have the ability to create a strategy to de-escalate an argumentative situation. I think that's wisdom. And I think that's what he's trying to say here.
Yeah.
Princess, you have your hand raised. What was your thought?
I don't know if it connects or not, but sometimes, or I heard it from my nieces who are not married and have kids, and they said their reasoning is always to know each other well and everything. And it happened to one of my nieces that the guy left because he doesn't want my niece. So they said it's a advantage for them to be not married because it's easier and not expensive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
That's
Yeah.
That's the
different
Divorce and
thinking.
all
now.
that.
These are the thinking of young ones now.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because they think they're getting support from the government for being a single parent.
No, it's just that probably because my brother was divorced the father and got married again and have half sister and half brother. So he said, I want to make sure he's the right guy. That's why I'm not getting married. That's
Yeah,
their thinking now.
that's a little more complicated than what this verse is teaching. So I can't address that complicated situation of what kind of decisions they want to make. But this is talking about a genuine married couple, husband and wife. So I can only go as far as that without getting too distracted with different scenarios.
Hey, Pastor Bert, I think it's best to do a road test and live together for a little bit, and
It
you can
is
see if
something like that. It is
you
something like that.
you could see where that person's at and how you stand with it. Is it going to be a yes or a nay? A nay or a yes? So anyway,
It's
that's
like
my
a
thought.
car, huh?
Yes. Yeah, road test, right. Make sure that everything's working well.
And Pastor Bert is not always
That's
the
a little,
women.
that's a little complicated because what the scriptures teach
Right.
is obviously,
Yeah, that's a way from the
marriage
Lord's way.
and living together as opposed
Yeah.
to living together and then get married. So just so we know where the Bible stands, and you obviously are, learning more about what the Bible teaches. The Bible
Yeah.
does teach marriage before living together.
Right.
So there must be a more creative way in learning about each other, knowing about each other before you marry them.
Yep.
Now, if you take it from the world's perspective, and we all come from the world, there are some who have that attitude about sexual relationships. That's their version of test driving. I want to have sex with my girlfriend first to see if we're compatible before I marry her.
Wow.
Okay, that's the way the world is, and I'm
Right.
just acknowledging that's the way of the world. But you have to ask the question, is that God's way?
No.
No.
Well, so our understanding of God's way is, get to know the person, and that sexual relationship develop having after you get married. That's when you are able to work it out. So, we choose to follow God's way and not go with the way of the world. That's it. As far as marriage and living together goes.
Thank you, Pastor Bert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's no guarantees. So we're not going to make guarantees that if you do it God's way in regard to marriage, it'll always work, because we're realistic enough to know that there's divorce. Divorce is a reality. And that's when people discover they can't get along with each other. But whether you live with someone or you marry someone, when you separate, it's a reality. And, that gets sorted out. That's as far as I go. Daniel and Anna, hello. What are your thoughts?
Pastor Bert, how are you, everybody?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Hello, Brother Dan.
Yeah,
Tough
hello.
Love Tuesday.
Yeah. We like
Love you.
love
But-
you. Love you all.
Yeah.
Pastor Bert, will like you to explain this Proverbs to us, because it sounds so funny. It's in you can find it in verse 15. By
Oh,
patience,
that's the one I like too.
a calm spirit, a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft and gentle tongue breaks a bone. Really? Are we going to break a bone, or how soft is this tongue?
Well,
It is.
this is figurative language, right?
This soft tongue is like a marshmallow. Can you explain
Well,
this, Pastor?
my translation says gentle tongue. So we're talking about figurative language here. This is poetic language. It's talking about relationships. The first part of it talks about a ruler can be persuaded. So in a person's relationship with a ruler, the one who's in authority over you, if you have a boss, if you have a commanding officer, even a parent, right? You have a relationship with them. And so, the way relationships are, sometimes you'll disagree with the one in authority, the one in power. Sometimes you'll disagree. You think that what they're doing is wrong, or you think the decision they made is wrong. So it encourages you to be patient or persistent, in what you believe is right. And then over time, you will be able to persuade the authorities. Where's a good example of that? What comes to mind is there was a time when slavery was predominant in England, right? Until there were some people who started to stand up against, slavery in the United Kingdom. And over time, they were able to convince the rulers, the lawmakers, to now end slavery. Okay. In the United States, same thing happened.
Yeah.
And yet what happened in the United States became even more serious because there was a civil war over it. So there was a big group of people who actually wanted to continue this slavery, and there were others who said we need to abolish it. So after the war was over, the ones who wanted to abolish the war, the North, I mean, did I say abolish the war? Abolish slavery.
Right.
They won the war, and so that made the new laws and changes to, the nation. But it took patience to do that. There are things that sometimes doesn't happen overnight, and you've got to have enough wisdom to say, I still believe this is wrong, and therefore I'll keep holding on to that and continue to fight for that. So whatever position you take that you believe is right, if it doesn't happen overnight, you'll have to be patient and stay firm and persistent.
It is the power
Be
of patience,
patient.
Pastor.
Yeah, I mean,
Patient.
if first, whenever you're standing up against the authority or the ruler, right? That's the context. They make bad decisions sometimes. And so you're now in a position to say, hey, what you're doing, even though you're in a position of authority, without being disrespectful, because they can kill you, right? They have the power to kill you, is to explain and persuade that their decision is wrong. See, so that was the story of Esther, where, in the book of Esther, you have this man named Haman who wanted to kill the Jews because they were being disrespectful to him, and he felt being disrespectful to him was being disrespectful to the whole Persian Empire. So we got to get rid of these people because they're rebellious. They're standing up against the Persian Empire from his thinking.
He wanted to hang Mordecai, Pastor.
Yeah. So he wanted to kill the Jews as well as hang Mordecai. And, that was a law that he created for the king to sign off on. So the king signed off on it. Then his wife, Esther, who was a Jew, was able to persuade the king, that what law he signed off on was wrong. And it was because of this guy, Haman, who she took the position, he's trying to kill me and my people because I'm Jewish. And then so now the king had to change the laws or create new laws to save the Jew and, the Jewish wife and the Jewish people.
And I think in that book, Pastor, God was not mentioned, but his power was, accurate in that book.
And that's one of the two books where God is not mentioned. The other book?
I was just thinking, which one is it?
Song of Solomon.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So God is not mentioned in those two books.
Oh, wow.
But God's hand is obviously very clear in the book of Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Song of Solomon is a love story between two people.
Didn't Esther persuade the king to let the Jews be able to defend themselves? Because they were going to
Yeah, that
actually
became the new
massacre
law. In order, he couldn't retract the law he created, right? That he signed off on.
them.
But Pastor Bert,
So
but
he had to
Esther
create a
told
new law.
him.
I'm sorry?
But oh yeah, I mean he doesn't have to retract it. Esther told him he's the king, so he can do whatever he wants. So instead of retracting it, he put a new law. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that the Jews would be able to protect themselves.
Defend themselves,
Yes.
exactly,
Yeah,
because they
defend
were going to
themselves.
massacre them.
I mean, that's the culture and the context of, the Persian laws and the Persian Empire, etc. But that was the scenario. See, so you have to be patient, and you can persuade them, so you can at least see how the system works. Now, a gentle tongue can break a bone.
Yeah, Pastor, like a marshmallow tank can break a bone. It's like funny, you know.
Yeah, but it's obviously a figure of speech, right?
Yeah.
So the figure of speech you got to take into consideration is what's the opposite of having a gentle tongue?
Harsh tongue.
A harsh tongue, a loud words, loud screaming, yelling.
The
Yes.
believer.
That kind of tongue, what's that going to do to the person in power?
Piss them off.
I'm not going to piss them off. I'm
There
not going to
you go.
listen to you. Why should I listen to you? You irritate me, right? Because of your loud and vulgar voice. But the person who has a gentle tongue, which you're very reasonable, you're a peace-loving person. Remember that list of things that create an understanding of wisdom that comes from above. Okay, it's a list of things in the book of James. Wisdom that comes from above, which hopefully you're able to discern. What is wisdom that comes from above? It's pure. It's peace-loving.
Gentle.
Okay, it's considerate. It's submissive. It's full of mercy, good fruit. It is impartial
Faithful.
and sincere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So all those characteristics, you've got to look for it to help you determine whether you're exercising wisdom from above. Wisdom from the world, or the earthly kind of wisdom, it says it creates quarreling, because there's bitterness, envy, selfish ambition. So if those are the motivating factors in trying to persuade the king, bitter envy, selfish ambition, that kind of wisdom is not from above. That's from the world. So that's why you need to learn to discern, which kind of wisdom am I hearing? Is this from above, or is this from the world? So the gentle tongue will be on the side of purity, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy, good fruit, impartial, right? Sincere. Hopefully that helps. And it you guys need that verse in the book of James for that?
Yeah.
Yes, let's go to the book of James so that we can find it. So I'm not making it up.
That way.
And you guys have learned, right? You got to search the scriptures to see if what Pastor Bert is telling you is true.
There you go.
Okay, it's in chapter 3 of James. And you can read starting in verse 13. And so you could finish it at verse 18. I'll go ahead and read it, and then we'll wrap it up with that, okay? Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show it by his good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom, quote unquote, does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, of the devil. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. Verse 17. But wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure.
There you go.
Then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace raise a harvest of righteousness. So, in other words, that verse that, that gentle tongue can break a bone. it's really having words of peace and still be firm about what you are trying to persuade the ruler to receive or to accept. See, it takes some wisdom and ability to do that.
Pastor
At
Bert?
least this is a good starting point of differentiating between wisdom from the earth or from the world,
Yeah.
or wisdom, from above.
There are some good verses higher up about the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, remember back then they didn't have chapters and verses. So you can just
Yeah, that's
reading
true.
and reading. It's talking about the tongue.
Yeah.
And how the tongue can be speaking
Fiery
good
or
things or bad things, and it can, so the power of the tongue has to be acknowledged in that proverb that we just read. This idea of being patient, you can persuade a ruler, and having a gentle tongue can break a bone. To break a bone would probably come off as like you say it with such gentleness towards that person that rather than them hating you for what you're correcting them,
they change their mind.
You break their bone in a sense that they'll be saying in their hearts, if not openly, you're right. I did that. What I did was wrong. You're right. What I did was wrong, And that's because you said it with a gentle tongue, as opposed to you said it with such a harsh tongue. I'm not even going to receive what you have to say. I reject it. But having that gentle tongue, is that always 100%? No, this is generally speaking, but I think there's wisdom for you to keep that in mind, that you can correct somebody, right? Because they're doing something wrong, but you don't do it with a harsh tongue. You do it with a gentle tongue.
Yeah.
Because if you do it with a gentle tongue, there's a better chance they're going to take that correction or that rebuke. Right?
Absolutely.
So just wisdom to practice or to keep in mind when you're dealing with correcting people.
So, Brother Dan, do you get it?
Thank you so much for that explanation, Pastor.
So yeah, it's keep in mind there's figure of speech, which is poetic language that you have to keep in mind. It's not literal, right? So yeah, your tongue is not going to break anybody's bones, but your tongue can persuade them to change their ways if you do it in a gentle way.
Where is that?
Another thing to keep in mind about breaking the bones, maybe what you have to say to correct them will hurt. Have you ever had to say something to somebody that it's going to hurt them?
Yep.
So if you're going to do it with a gentle tongue.
Sometimes they don't get the gentle tongue, Pastor Bert.
Well, but in practice,
sometimes they don't get it.
Well, but in practice, you want to, exercise wisdom by, working with a gentle tongue as opposed to a harsh word, because harsh word will stir up anger. They'll yell back at you if you don't use, or else they'll find a way to criticize you. You know how that works. You've been there. This is real life.
My mom used to talk to me.
What's that?
My mom used to talk to me, and she would be talking loud, and all the sisters and brothers, they were just loud. They cursed a lot. They were just loud. And she'd ask me, "Did you hear what I said?" And I'd be like, "No, ma'am." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because you was talking too loud. I couldn't understand what you were saying."
Wasn't what you wanted to hear either.
But that's, again, part of the wisdom to be able to sort through every, relationship scenarios, every situation. There's so many things in Proverbs that talks about relationships. Like one verse that comes to mind is that verse that says, it is to a man's honor to overlook an offense. How many of you guys get offended and you just overlook it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize if you overlook an offense, it's to your honor?
Yeah.
The alternative says, but every fool is quick to quarrel.
Mm-hmm.
See? So
Amen.
are you going to be a kind of person who's going to be quick to quarrel because you're offended by everything?
Now, we are
Mhm.
ambassador of
You don't
Christ,
want to
Pastor
get
Bert.
you don't want
Yeah.
to get
I
caught
mean,
up in that.
there's this guy I saw on YouTube, right? He gives pink lighters. Pink, it's colored pink, like a Bic lighter. He gives it to his customers who's asking for a lighter. And these dudes, they're like, you know, hoods. They're offended by the fact you gave them a pink lighter.
Mm.
They want to start arguing. Why are you giving me this? Why are you doing this to me? Why, and they're offended. And I'm thinking with that verse, every fool is quick to quarrel. If he gives you a pink lighter, just ask for a different one. Why do you have to argue over it?
How come you can't just use the pink lighter? You scared
Or
of your
just use what you
masculinity?
got. Do you see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah, you
Why do you have
afraid
to
of your
get into
masculinity? You
drama,
can't do
start
pink.
arguing? What's that?
I said you're afraid of your masculinity. You can't do pink.
Yeah, that's what it
But
is,
that's
right?
but that's this thing that you got to keep in mind when the Bible says uh, every fool is quick to quarrel. When you're going to be going into a quarrel over something like that, what is that telling you? It's telling you you're being a fool.
Exactly, Pastor Bert. This is a good
See,
reminder.
but when you overlook an offense, maybe you were offended the fact that he gave you a pink lighter. You know, uh, why be offended? Just overlook it. Move on.
After
See,
all, it was free.
well, it wasn't free, but it still was. It was a source of people getting angry over that. He was doing this as an experiment so that he
And
could
what
put
guide
this
is
out
that,
there on
Pastor Bert?
YouTube, right? But that
Okay.
just goes to show you that there are just some things that when you practice what the Proverbs teach, you can
It doesn't
also
work
discern with your eyes what is wise and what is foolish.
all the time.
See?
What-
And that's where, there's more to say about,
Pastor
these
Bert,
things.
it doesn't define you with the color, and also nowadays it's unisex.
Well, but that's what I mean. Don't lose the
Yeah,
point now,
I'm sorry.
right? The point is every fool is quick to quarrel,
Mhm.
right? Because, come on, you might be offended, but can you just overlook it? Can you just let it go? Why are you going to get angry and violent over it?
Yeah.
No, I
It
can't.
just goes to show you, what are you being taught? How is your culture, being influenced to be this way?
Because their feelings, they are insulted.
Yeah, but remember, if you're insulted or if you're offended, what are you supposed to do according to the Bible?
Be
Brush
happy
it
and be
off.
glad because you are blessed, Pastor Bert.
Overlook
Yeah,
overlook
overlook
it.
it.
Overlook.
Just overlook it. Just pretend nothing happened.
Yeah.
And it's to your honor. Do you want that verse in Proverbs? It's in chapter 20. But if you want to be a person that people look at you with honor, and it's like he didn't make a big deal out of it. And it's like, yeah. So to him, good people will honor you for that. Obviously, bad people, they don't look at that kind of thing as something honorable. They think you're crazy, they think you're the wimp, you're the weak guy. You see? And so now you feel like you need to stand up for something as little as that. You're going to let him do that to you? Is that kind of thinking, right? You can't let him do that to you. Say something, do something. See? So the culture creates that. And that's why you have to keep in mind You know what? The Bible says it's to my honor if I overlook it. You know what? I'll overlook it as if nothing happened. See,
Yep.
they're not going to control your emotions. You control your emotions by ignoring it and overcome, the verse is, he who overlooks an offense, is honored. It is to a man's honor to overlook an offense. Okay, what was your thought, Diane?
Oh, I just wanted to mention the verse that keeps coming back to me right now is number. I know we don't have time, but just quickly, I'm going to put it out there. Number 3, as the heavens are high and the earth is deep, so the hearts of kings are unsearchable. That one I just really can't balance in my head.
Yeah, it's your relationship with authority, the hearts of a king. Authority.
I'll have to work on that.
So when you think about your relationship with authorities,
and
then when you think about the king, which in our scenario, it's the president, right?
But the hearts of kings are unsearchable.
Yeah, you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know where they're coming from.
Okay,
So
I got to work on that one.
You can't really know what the leader is going to do. The ruler, the king, the president, you really don't know what their motivation are. You don't know what's guiding them. So it is unsearchable.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what the ruler is trying to do.
Now that you pointed that out, just like that.
So that's
Thank you.
Anyway, you know what, guys? I just realized I'm overtime and I got to get going. So we got to wrap it up.
Bert. Yep.
Susie or Manny, I'm going to leave it to you guys. But let's close in prayer. Does anybody want to close us?